Look at this. Look at the snow. I live in the South. This isn't supposed to happen. What is this? Hold up, let me a little bit of that. Yeah, so I live in the South. It doesn't snow here super often, but it looks like that outside. So just want to do a little quick update, show you kind of the situation. It is a snowy Wednesday here in February in Memphis, my first year of dental school. I figured I'd do a little bit of a vlog to just show you what it's like to be a dental student in these times. You know, we're already at home fully, and now it's like, can't even leave the place. So about the middle of the day, I need some coffee, and then I'll show you what I'm working on. All right, so yeah, today is just kind of a regular, normal day. We had a big test this Monday of this week, so the rest of this week has been able to be a little bit slower than normal because we don't have a test in our immediate future, but I wanted to just kind of show you what I was working on, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and yeah, just walk you through a typical day. Before picking up the camera today, I just finished up this big lecture here, and this is a lecture on basically the cranium, so all the bones of the cranial vault and what comes inside of the skull other than the brain. So all these sinuses and cavities and things, and then all the different tissues along with, you know, nerves, veins, and arteries and everything else that we learn. Just worked on this. I did my typical routine, which is having it over here in the lecture and then throwing it into Anki to make Anki flashcards, using frozen fields here and using all the other add-ons that I typically use. A lot of image occlusion, a lot of typical closed delete cards, and that is what I just did. All right, so I've got to show you this. This is really bad, but this is the current state of my anatomy deck. If you've watched some of the videos that I made in the past, you know that I'm taking gross anatomy this semester, but the gross anatomy course is separate from the rest of our dental school courses. So I have a separate Anki deck for it, and just take a look at the situation that I have found myself in here. Yeah, that's 1,700 new cards that I haven't seen yet. Not ideal, definitely not ideal. Also, you can see, hold on, this is a little, you can see my little fox here, kind of, he's covered up, but I figured out how to add a cool background to Anki. So my Anki looks very pretty right now. That's not really ideal. I have a lot of work to do, but we don't have another anatomy test until like 2 weeks from now. So hopefully I can get through all of those cards in a reasonably quick fashion. And I still have lectures to go, so there will still be cards added to that. But now that I've finished this lecture, I'm actually going to go ahead and study some of these cards and try to get through some of them. I need to primarily work on anatomy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing that. So I want to show you one more thing here as well. So I kind of just talked about anatomy and sort of where we're at. We do have another exam for anatomy in like 2 weeks, I believe. And so I do have a lot of work to do there, but I wanted to show you kind of the other stuff here. So I'll open up Notion, which is actually how I keep track of all my work essentially. So this is the next exam that I have. And like you see here, it's March 16th. So I have quite a bit of time to prepare for this, and I need to get to work on these, but like I said, I've got like a month, so good amount of time there. But the big class that we have this semester is physiology, and this is actually pretty light as far as as far as lectures. I think we have a bunch more that are on this exam. I don't think this is all of them, but basically I make these pages in Notion that serve as like my exam pages, and I just put all of my lectures that I'm supposed to do into here, and I have these little check marks, so once I make my Anki cards for them, I go through and check them off. This is a development class. It's talking about like a lot of embryology, and then now we're essentially into like childhood and talking about early growth. And this is extremely light. I think this is all that we have on the next exam, but normally we have 4 or 6 lectures just for this class. Biomaterials, I never really put the lectures in here just because I sort of run through those PowerPoints and do it a little bit differently than the other classes. Like operative dentistry, it's a class that's very heavy in lab work. So operative dentistry is, I've talked about this, but it's essentially like the course on doing cavity preparations and then filling cavity preparations with either amalgam or composite. So essentially operative is a very like hands-on heavy course, but we do have that class represented in our exams. And so what I typically do for that class is like the weekend before an exam, I just run through all the PowerPoints, and it's all stuff that you know because you're doing it like hands-on, like you know how to do these preparations, you know how to like the various techniques that we learn. So we recently just did amalgam, so we know how to pack them, we know how to polish them and finish them and all that. And then the last class that's usually represented here is occlusion. This test just looks kind of small, honestly. It looks pretty manageable here. Occlusion is an interesting class, and so we've got some lectures to look at there. And so, like I said, I just had my last test, which was part 2, so I'm like really early on here on this one, and I'm really focusing on anatomy right now because I could show you anatomy here actually. Okay, so right here you can see all the anatomy lectures that are covered on this next exam. This next anatomy test should be quite the challenge. And for anatomy, we have lecture and lab portions of the exam. So we have like a walk in and do a lab practical where we identify everything on the cadaver, and then we have a written exam where we write everything out and do a typical exam like that. That is pretty much all I wanted to show you. So I'm going to just kind of get back to my studying. Just wanted to kind of show you what a random day would look like and show you what some of the classes that I'm working on. For someday I would like to go back to this video and see what it was like on February 17th of a random month in dental school. But yeah, I got more work to do, so I'll catch up with you in just a bit. All right, I've been in my apartment way too long. I'm a little bit stir crazy, so let's go check this snow out outside and just see what this is all about. It's gonna be really cold. I think it's like 20, maybe 18-ish right now, which is actually warmer than yesterday, but let's go put on what warm clothes I have and just go check it out. This is essentially the extent of my shoes right here. So not exactly the best for the snow, but they will have to do. So for those of you who live in cold parts of the country, you're probably laughing at me. Like, look at this clown freaking out because of a little bit of snow. I go to like Colorado a lot, so I've seen the snow before. I've been in the snow, but just to see it in Tennessee, it's a little different for us here. But it's pretty cool. I quite like the snow, so a little change of pace, and it's nice to get out of the apartment a little bit, not be so cooped up. Even though it's really freaking cold. But yeah, I think it's about time to go back in. That's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I just, I had to let you all know that it was snowing here. We don't get to see snow very often. And wanted to just kind of show you what it's like to have a normal, regular day as a first-year dental student and have plans get changed a little bit. All the labs get canceled and, white stuff falling from the sky. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if you want to see more like random vlogs like this where I'm just talking, showing what is going on randomly at any given point in my day, let me know. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. So that's pretty much it, guys. I wish there were hills and I wish I had a sled. All right, I'll see you next time.